September the 8th, 2025. My Hyundai Accent is undergoing a procedure performed by my bike mechanic. So we'll have to see how that turns out. The side wind mirror got clipped as I was trying to reverse out on my tin shack. My tin shack has a gate that opens and closes and creaks every time it does so. And the children tend to surround the entrance of my abode anytime I'm trying to move the gate or jumping in and out of my car. So I would have had a cloud full of kids surrounding me and trying to reverse out of my lot, whilst my neighbour has an abundance of vehicles of various different states and sizes. He has this one electric vehicle, and he has it always parked in the wrong place so that it barely leaves me enough space to reverse. And so I pulled out of my driveway and tried to squeeze within the space between his electric scooter and his small little truck, and I couldn't fit there, so I thought maybe I'll reverse a little bit and get in from a different angle. And as I reversed, I noticed that the gate, which I thought was fully open, was actually right in the way of my side mirror, and Bob's your uncle. Boom. That's it, game over. The side mirror is dangling down a little bit like your Mickey might do after a tough day on the pipe, the copper pipe. You get a little bit of midget dick. You can't get your little willy into action, so it lays there flapping away like a useless instrument. But a motorbike mechanic might give it a good go, and we should be fully erect again by lunchtime. What's happening in the world today? I have been dealing with thoughts around lust almost to the point where I would say I'm powerless around them. This morning I was exploring the concept of clinging, talking to my ChatGPT about emptiness and clinging, which are two of the core tenets of Buddhism. We have this habit as humans to just cling and never let go. Like, I want. I need. And then you'd fixate on it. Whereas that's not the way the universe works. It should be like, as Dr. Orion Taliban, who I love so much, as he says, you want to think of a girl as if it's a cat from the neighborhood. Let's say a beautiful cat, and this cat will be used to jumping up and climbing up and down trees, jumping over walls, and every abode, every dwelling is theirs because they are not tied to anything in particular. And maybe this cat comes to your front door quite often, and you leave out a little saucer, and you might pet that cat, and the cat would stroke your leg, and you think that there's some kind of connection there, that it's your cat. So you continue to leave the milk out, and the cat comes and goes as it pleases. But if you were to try and take that cat and domesticate it, you might have your work cut out for you. So you just keep on leaving the little plate of milk out on the porch. And maybe some days you might catch the thing, and they might come over and stroke you, and you'll have a little moment that's quite special. But most days it's just off doing its own thing. Climbing up and down the trees, jumping on and over walls, chasing mice or rats, provoking the local dogs, whatever it is the cats do. So I want to stop clinging. And we'll see if I can stop that clinging. I'm just short of the idea of practicing absolute abstinence, right? Somebody mentioned when I made a video the other day Why don't you stop kidding yourself, mate? Why aren't you talking about the problems you have around women? And there's a number of reasons. Like, I don't want to give it weight too much so that it becomes like something that is actually a serious situation. Like many addictions, I don't want to talk about it because that will bring it to life. But it is very real, this thing, especially out here in the Philippines, where money can be used to oil the gears in your romantic encounters, and you can easily find yourself swipe, and you'll match with the most beautiful women that could be half your age, and you can message them and they'll say all the right things so that you think you're some kind of modern day Casanova. And that's one form of a drug in itself. You could disappear into the vacuum of dating apps, and you'll match with one girl and you get a number, and then she's in WhatsApp and you're chatting to her, and she's wishing you good morning, hello, good morning, and then you're busy trying to tell some other girl that you don't want to see her anymore because she's asking for too much money. So then mentally you might remove her from the list of girls that you're clinging to, but now you're already in the middle of clinging to this new one, and she's only asking you how you're getting on, but you already know it's a slow motion car crash. It won't be long before she's telling you that her uncle stood on a nail and she's shy of the medical bill by just a little bit. I just need a little bit to get me over the hill. A couple of thousand pesos is all. So I need to stop that, delete the apps. Would I be able to practice abstinence in its entirety, like some kind of Buddhist monk? Or I would say Catholic priests, but they're all there's not that many Catholic priests now that you'd say are celibate. I'd say most of them are off to fucking Thailand every second chance they can get. So we shall see. That's the end of my rant on, what date did I say it was? 8th of January 2025. The boys in green, weapons and everything, all ready for some kind of confrontation perhaps, here in the quiet back alleys of Bacolod. We could see unleashed a form of guerrilla warfare unlike you'd ever seen. Perhaps at this very moment, aircraft carriers of Chinese descent are occupying the Negros Occidental waters. There are countless numbers of Chinese military men, Navy SEAL equivalents, snorkeling towards the coastline of Negros Occidental. And these brave men, these soldiers, courageous in every way you wish you were, are ready to go and fight them tooth and nail with these little toy guns and the Filipino flag. And then of course a brass ensemble. It looks like a 12-piece brass ensemble, perhaps 16, perhaps 20. There is nothing a military force cannot do without a 16-piece brass ensemble. And now a highly articulated bureaucrat with a clipboard and clicky pen will read out the procedure for the upcoming military project. Stop, says he, with a hand signal. Wait for the woman with the clicky pen. Don't get ahead of yourselves, lads. This is Filipino military warfare, not Chinese military warfare. We will be ordered
We will be professional. We will be above reproach. And as the wind rustles the leaves of the trees here in Bacolod City Town Square, all is right in the world of politics, of economics, and of social well-being. That's it for me, talking out of my hoop. Alright, it's 9:30 on the 8th of September. Just passing by Jesus' house. My stray dog was hanging around outside the gym and he won't follow me, even though he knows I am the hand that feeds. That's the old police station there. A couple of people loitering outside the now check this out. Isn't it a pretty nice feature of Han Dumanan? You wouldn't see this in too many places. You have Jesus' crucifix, and quite often what they'll do is they'll have these plays where somebody gets into a Jesus outfit and stands in the middle, which would make the two people that stand to the side of him criminals. They be real criminals, or they be role playing. Hello, officer. All right, now I don't know if they just tolerate me a bit, or do they? Hello. I'd say it's a kind of a tolerate. They see the man with the phone and they think, what's that fucking idiot doing? Walking around the house of God, making a video about Jesus. Who does he think he is, Mr. Fancy Pants? Here's the blind watchmaker. Late night watch fixing. Hello, brother. Just making a video. Hello there. You're open very late to be fixing watches. Are you fixing watches or phones? Phones. Oh, it's phones today. I'll talk to you soon, guys. He does fix phones. Hello, brother. A couple of people on their way home. Hello, brother. Hello, lads. What kind of dog is this? A mixed breed.
Chihuahua and Shih Tzu.
Chihuahua and Shih Tzu. They look quite nice. Very cute. Hello, sir. Yeah. Anyway, I just finishing my 3-mile run. I was listening to a fella. You know, I probably end up saying that quite a lot. I always do, don't I? I was listening to this guy, or some fella was saying in a book, these nice pastries. I can't buy any because I'll end up eating them all. And it would be pointless to be out running only to stop off and eat a big load of biscuits on the way home. Yeah, so this monk was saying he went into a retreat in the mountains of Scotland somewhere for 4 years, doing a silent retreat. And while he was in there, Facebook came out on the market, YouTube was released, Obama took over, the world, what was it? No, not the World Trade Center. The financial crisis occurred, and he stuck his head back out of this retreat and noticed that everybody had turned into a zombie, or what he looked like. but looked like a zombie. And so he decided to become like a self-ordained monk of happiness, to try and educate the world on what happiness is all about. And he said that at the moment we're all wired to chase like little moments of happiness, little bite-sized chunks of happiness. Like you might get a kick out of your phone in the morning when you you open up your WhatsApp, you get a little dopamine hit. Maybe if you open up your dating app, you swipe right a few times, you get a little hit of dopamine. Same goes for when your salary lands into your bank each month, when you buy yourself a nice new pair of shoes, possibly the occasional episode of affection when you hug somebody that you love. But anyway, we are never even close to a feeling of happiness like what the monks, the whole reason that these guys go into these 5-year retreats is to try and search what is happiness. It talks about anticipation of, like if we're about to go to a restaurant, we'll anticipate the steak and chips that we might order. You know, if we're going out to meet someone, we anticipate what it might be like to, you know, hug them or kiss them or sleep with them at the end of the night. But we're always anticipating. And then when we actually have the experience that we've been anticipating, the dopamine has already diminished. The dopamine from the experience occurs before the fact and not during or after the fact. The same thing happens in animals. Like if you suggest, even if you move towards a dog's leash, the dog will go bonkers off his head on dopamine at the idea that he's about to go for a walk. So, how do you get closer to a situation where you have the happiness of a monk? I think it might be that you shut yourself off altogether. In many ways, I feel sometimes like that's what I'm doing here in Handu Mannan. 6 minutes and 56 seconds. There's a friend of mine called Jamie, and when I bump into him, I say, Jamie, what are you thinking about Handu Mannan? Fucking hate it. I hate it. Dogs barking, cock-a-doodle-doos, the cocks in the morning, neighbours arguing, late at night. Can't get a bit of peace. Can't wait to get out of here. Whereas for me, if you ask me, I'm actually quite happy in this place. Even though there's not that many foreigners here. If you had shown me this place about 5 or 6 years ago, I would have said, no fucking way, Jose. I just wouldn't be able for it because there's no pubs, there's no nightlife. But actually, it's exactly what I need at the moment for this, at this moment in my life. Anyway, that's the end of that. 8 minutes.